We open on a tight close-up shot of a human face, illuminated only by the cold blue glow of a smartphone screen in an otherwise dark, quiet room. The eyes are tired, yet a thumb endlessly swipes upward. Swipe, swipe, swipe. We have all found ourselves completely lost in this exact moment. You're sitting alone, perhaps just taking a minute on the toilet or lying in bed, and suddenly you realize you have been staring at social media for an unknown amount of time. You blink, pulling yourself out of the digital trance, and ask yourself a very simple, unsettling question. How did I get here? If you have been feeling entirely off lately, you are not alone. Millions of us are walking around feeling a bizarre lack of focus, experiencing absolutely zero motivation to do our work, and feeling incredibly indecisive about the simplest choices. We are exhausted, and there is a profound reason for it. We live in a deeply unnatural world, an environment that is intentionally designed to stimulate our human emotions, purely to maximize corporate profits. It is a terrifying reality that almost every single company in our modern society has hijacked our deeply rooted internal biological systems, putting them on steroids. We are caught in a relentless loop of instant gratification, where things like social media, heavily processed junk food, adult content, and digital entertainment require absolutely no effort to consume. We simply sit back, endlessly scroll, and are instantly rewarded with massive chemical hits of pleasure. In artificial noise, we are constantly listening to music, constantly checking our screens, and rarely allowing ourselves a single moment of true silence. Because of this endless distraction, billions of people are unconsciously focusing their entire lives on consuming the creations of others, instead of actually creating the lives they want to live themselves. But this constant bombardment is creating a vicious, inescapable cycle. We are drowning. To understand why our minds betray us like this, we have to look closely at the science happening inside our heads. We have to talk about the chemical of want and desire. We have to talk about dopamine. From the standpoint of evolutionary science, your brain is wired to reward you for anything that increases your likelihood of survival in the wild. When you do something life-sustaining, your brain releases a powerful neurotransmitter called dopamine. This is the exact scientific reason why it feels so incredibly good to eat a rich, heavy steak. Our ancient brains calculate that a fat piece of meat equals long-lasting satiation, and therefore, survival. It rewards us for finding calories. But here is the inherent flaw in our biology. Dopamine has no concept of the modern world. It does not understand context, and it does not know what is actually good or healthy for us. Imagine standing in front of your open fridge. You have the choice to either pick a healthy carrot or a piece of rich chocolate. Your brain will immediately urge you to pick the chocolate. Why? Because evolutionary biology knows that sugar and fat will make you feel more pleasure, releasing a much higher amount of dopamine. It only sees the potential for a massive reward, completely ignoring the negative long-term context. This is where the modern technological trap springs shut. It is scientifically proven that dopamine has a direct, profound influence on the daily decisions we make and the actions we take. When our brain receives a massive flood of dopamine from a single, effortless source, like an endless video feed, it tries to stimulate the craving for that thing over and over again until a permanent urge develops. As the scientific reality of addiction sets in, our brains literally rewire themselves. This leads to automatic impulsive behaviors where we act without even thinking, just to get that next hit of pleasure. And this is not an accident. According to the industry experts analyzing our modern behavior, there are millions of developers and engineers specifically designing their digital products and internet platforms to release as much dopamine as humanly possible. These experts deliberately shifted social media platforms away from simple chronological feeds, replacing them with highly addictive, algorithm-based feeds purely to keep us coming back. They added leveling and ranking systems to video games to ensure we never want to leave. They know that if they supply the constant dopamine hits, we will supply our precious time. So how do we escape a trap that is literally built into our own biology? How do we take back control over our own decisions and actions? The answer is found in a deeply human reset, a dopamine detox. This does not mean eliminating all joy or baseline dopamine from your life. Rather, it means distancing yourself from the highly engineered external factors that trigger your impulsive behaviors. It means intentionally stepping away from the noise. The most grounded, realistic way to start is by embracing silence. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning and, instead of immediately grabbing your phone to play a random song or check your messages, you just sit quietly with your own thoughts. Driving your car without the radio on might feel incredibly boring at first, but this silence is the first necessary step to slowing the world down. Next, you must move your body in the real world. Simple daily routines like walking and regular exercise, completely free of music or digital distraction, force you to focus on your physical breath and take in the environment around you. Instead of walking down the street lost in a song or stressing about a social media post you saw an hour ago, you actually hear the birds in the trees. You begin to notice your surroundings and break free from being entirely self-absorbed. We also must rethink what we put into our bodies. Replacing heavily processed junk food and sugary sweets with healthy, home-cooked meals or fresh fruit dramatically shifts how our bodies process energy and pleasure. And perhaps most importantly, we have to intentionally sever the digital tether. We must dramatically reduce our notifications and screen time. Delete the social media apps from your phone, close the laptop, and turn off the digital entertainment. Leave your phone by the side of the bed when you need to focus on work. When the evening arrives and that familiar creeping boredom kicks in, do not try to escape it by staring at a screen. Let yourself be bored. It is precisely in these quiet, empty moments of boredom that we are finally able to zoom out, reflect objectively on where our lives are heading, and make actual, meaningful changes. When you remove the artificial noise, you make room for genuine human fulfillment. You replace toxic habits with things that make you feel truly present and alive. You finally have the mental clarity to pursue a new hobby you always thought you were too busy for, like taking a drone out at dawn and flying it through a beautiful landscape at 70 kilometers per hour. You start falling in love with sunsets and sunrises again. You might find yourself standing on a quiet beach, deciding to just jump into the ocean. Instead of scrolling through a curated algorithm of strangers, you find yourself having a real conversation, Skyping a friend or talking face to face. And when you do, people will notice a difference in you. They will tell you that you seem calmer, more settled. By lowering our excessive consumption, we wipe our minds clean of stressful, racing thoughts and give our brains the crucial time they need to actually process our daily experiences. The heavy weight of constant comparison lifts completely off your shoulders. You stop feeling the need to compare your life to the curated lives of digital creators. We are living in a society that never stops screaming for our attention. It is a world that profits off our endless distraction. But you have the power to drown out that noise. You can choose to step away from the vicious cycle, to keep your distance from the algorithms, and stop spending your time living inside somebody else's life. By embracing the quiet, slowing down, and reclaiming your focus, you can experience every moment twice as intensely as before. It is the first vital step to gaining back control over your own existence. But perhaps the real question is, what do you think?